Shopping season is upon us, which is why people need to be aware of those who try to take advantage of others, in particular when it comes to online scams. And joining me this morning to talk all about it is Howard Schwartz from the Better Business Bureau. So Howard, thank you for being here this morning. So the first thing, we hear all these stories about data breaches and people's identity being stolen, but are people still trusting to go online to shop?
Absolutely. There are things that are in our control, things that are not in our control. Now, the data breaches are not within our control. So we've got to accept the fact that a lot of it is personal behavior, what we do, how we use our cards, and where we go. In terms of whether people are still trusting online, according to the National Retail Federation, which follows these kinds of things, 56% of consumers have already been buying at least some of their things online, and that means whether it's gifts or food or other things for the holiday. But the interesting part is that of those 56% of people who go online, they're expected to spend more than 50% more than everybody else. So alive is, or at least online is alive and well.
So the outlook is going to be good this year then?
Consumer confidence is up, there's no question. And one of the interesting measures is gift cards. Fewer people are giving them, fewer want to receive them. And what the experts are saying is one of the reasons is consumers are feeling better about the economy, but the other is because people feel their budgets are a little more liquid than they used to be, so they might be more inclined to buy something spontaneous than they were in past years.
All right, so the outlook is good. So, one of the things when people buy online, and I've been in this situation where you say, should I use my debit card or my credit card? There is one you should be using over the other. Explain and tell us why.
Yeah, we should be using our credit cards. I think the data breaches have taught us one thing, and that is if you use a debit card, even though it has a credit card logo on it, if somebody uses it for fraud, that money comes right out of your bank account. If you have a debit card, if you use a credit card, you've got a tremendous measure of protection, including zero liability if it's used for fraud. But as well, you can also get points for the things you're buying, but much safer than debit cards. We recommend that people use a debit card as an ATM card if they want money back or not. And just remember, it is not a credit card. That money comes right out of your account. The only difference between the two, between a debit and a credit, is when you're asked if you want cash back, and then you put your PIN number
in.
But from the security perspective, if that information is stored on a server, then it is still a debit card, and if somebody hacks that information, they can empty your account.
All right, so use the credit card, case in point. This time of year people also give to charities. How can we make sure that the money we're giving is going to the intended person or organization?
There are a couple of ways. First of all, we encourage people to be proactive rather than reactive. And in that sense, we mean rather than responding to an email solicitation or somebody who calls you, you find a charity yourself and you get the contact information. Don't click on a link in an email. The other thing is you can check them out at give.org, that's give.org, which is the charity branch of Better Business Bureau, and you can see where their charity matches our 20 standards of charity accountability. Very, very helpful. But also watch out for look-alike names of charities, because sometimes they'll try and fool people, and they'll call them because charities are exempt from the do not call list, and they will ask for your credit card over the telephone. So watch out for that.
All right, very good. Now, we actually have some tips for people who are shopping online. We have a full screen that we're going to bring up, and I want to go through them because some of these are key and they bear explaining. The first one, go right to the source. What do you mean by that?
Well, by that we mean if you get an email or a text or a phone call, don't click on it, don't answer it. If they use the name of a charity, rather than using a phone number they may give you, find out what that phone number is and you call yourself, or you put that address into your browser bar rather than clicking on something to get there.
And then the other thing we have is compare shipping charges.
Yeah, you can find some very good deals online for a product, and if you're comparing, say, 4 companies, the one that's least expensive may have higher shipping charges and handling than the others. So calculate that in before you hit the submit button to buy something.
All right, and the other thing too, which people need to know about, the HTTPS, which means secure. So people need to be paying attention to that on the website URL.
Correct, and that's something that you should see as you're about to give your credit card number. You might see it as well just on an entire site. And you'll see not only that S, but a little padlock graphic. And that means that the company is taking the necessary precautions to ensure the information between your computer and their store is scrambled. It's encrypted. So if anybody tries to intercept it, it means that they're just going to end up with gibberish.
All right, and then real quick, we have a couple seconds left. Watch out for knockoffs, and classifieds are key. What do you mean by that?
Well, when you're dealing with a classified ad, and you're doing a face-to-face transaction with someone you don't know, you're out of luck if it's stolen, if it's a knockoff, and that's a really big problem. And in terms, you could end up buying something that's hot, that's been stolen, something that's being fenced, something that's absolutely worthless. So be very careful. Go to a store or a site that's trustworthy and use a secure payment method such as a credit card or an online payment system like PayPal.
All right, so certainly a lot to worry about out there, but there are ways to keep yourself safe. Howard, thank you for being here with us this morning. We
My pleasure,
certainly
Brian.
appreciate it.